Hey guys, Trent from Local Pest Experts, back with another Wednesday waffle in the chem store today, because yesterday the APVMA, which is the Australian Pesticides and Veterinary Medicines Association, released a bit of information which is pertinent to rodent management and is going to change the way that rodents can be controlled across Australia. So for a homeowner, for you guys for instance, what it's going to do is restrict use fairly significantly and certainly restrict purchase of the product over the shelf. Now these changes come into place in less than 2 weeks on the 24th of March, so it's not a very long time period to make the adjustments that are required. As you can see, those 3 blue buckets, Rodent, and those Talon up the top are a couple of our DIY options. They're the last ones left. We won't be ordering any more, so if you need some before the 24th will be the only time to do that. Otherwise we'll just use them on site ourselves. What it means for professional pest managers, and I will caveat this by saying I'm not at all a subject matter expert on this yet. I only found out about the changes this morning, done a fair bit of research into it, a fair bit of AI chat to try and comprehend exactly what it means and what it means for us and what it means for our team. But the significance of the change is that second generation anticoagulants, which is the primary rodenticide used across Australia for rodent management. The terminology that they use, which is fairly scary, was that all labels are suspended for 12 months, which I went, holy, what are we doing here? Thankfully, the labels are suspended, but with some modifications, they'll be allowed for use in the short term. So from our perspective, there's a fair bit of process change, but generally speaking, and through all the sites that we manage, we got very safe practices in place anyway, so it doesn't change a great deal what we use. It'll change our product selection a little bit in some areas, especially where maintenance baiting is required, and it'll certainly change our residential market a little bit, but you guys won't notice that. Again, it'll be just a shift between what we do on the initial service versus what we do on the follow-up service to make sure we're removing any second generation anticoagulant from a site. But all those SOPs have been produced thanks to a bit of hard work and a lot of AI help today. They've been distributed through the team, so we're certainly ready and raring to go once those changes come into effect. What that means for you as a residential customer, though, as well, is that you won't be able to buy a large package sizing anymore. You'll only be able to buy up to 300 grams of rodent bait, which is about 10 blocks over the counter. So it's going to have a huge impact on farmers and some of that agricultural use. Rodents are a significant pest, right? We've seen this happening and we've seen it coming, and we've been sort of pushing back on it a little bit. Don't get me wrong, I can guarantee you every reasonable, decent pestie with integrity in Australia really cares about predatory animals and the secondary effects of second generation anticoagulants, and we do mitigate the risk by product selection and how it's used. But the environment that we live in Australia is just so conducive to rodent activity that adjustments to this without a reasonable fallback, and some of the other products we'll be using in place of it now might be cilantro, active ingredient cholecalciferol. It's a Schedule 7 poison, as high as a scheduling gets. Basically, there's no antidote for it for primary poisoning. We've also got fast track, you can see it down here with the purple label, bromethylene. It's still Schedule 6, but again, no antidote, and it can't be used at residential property. So they're sort of 2 of the only options left, apart from first generation anticoagulants, which there's use case for, and we will be using them from time to time. But when you talk population control or population remediation, there's some huge limiting factors to first generation anticoagulants, specifically that they have to have multiple feeds of multiple periods to get to that lethal dosage. Anyway, rodents are thought to have impact on 1 in 4 house fires across the country. They certainly contaminate a lot more food with their urine and droppings than they do eat. They carry diseases like leptospirosis, which is generally passed on through the urine on food production surfaces or places like that. And if I could list off a number of places that we do rodent management procedures that now have to have a fairly significant change, and could impact the rodent numbers that are expected to be, say, inside a production facility. We're talking beef exports, food production facilities, soft drink facilities, nursing homes, hospitals, small bakeries, mum and dad bakeries that might not have the budget for compliance as well. Not to mention residential properties and just normal commercial sites. Bunnings, for instance, lots of dog food, lots of other conducive environments in there. Really difficult environments to control rodents in Australia when you're fairly restricted with the tools that we've got to use. But as the saying goes, I suppose, to a man with only a hammer, everything looks like a nail. So we will adapt. We'll figure out how best to do this. We'll work with the regulators on it. I know AAPMA, which is our peak body, is doing a fair bit of work in there around that. And I'm sure a lot of the manufacturers who have a fairly big stake in this are as well. But these changes are coming. They're coming in a couple of weeks. They're yet to be finalised, obviously, so there may be some adjustment between now and then. But fairly significant and will impact everyone, I guess.